You have no idea how long I've been trying to make this video. And finally, I was able to make it happen because I finally got to photograph some planes. I know it sounds a little bit kind of silly for a video because obviously photographing planes can be cool for some people, very niche or whatever, but there's more of an underlying message when it comes down to this video than just simply photographing planes. It's something that kind of sparked my interest, and I've been trying to do it ever since I was testing out the 50-300 a while back, and even the 50-400 when Tamron loaned it to me. And it's been wild because every time that I try to go and film that video, for whatever reason, where my mom lived, which is near an airport, none of the planes were flying really that day. Recently, after getting the Sony A7RV and going to visit my mom to her apartment complex, because she moved down from Michigan a couple years, well, recently now, finally got to see a lot of planes and take photos of them. So it all stemmed really because I was wanting to take photos of planes just because to the fact that I had the range finally, and I was trying to do it with my A7C II at the time because of the AI chip that you can, pick an airplane and everything. So I wanted to test it out how well it would work. And we have the Sony A7RV now as well, and it does have, the airplane mode as well with the AI chip. So I thought having the 300mm range and the 61 megapixels would allow me to do a little bit more. So I kind of got lucky finally, and I was able to go ahead and photograph some nice airplanes to be able to test out how it would look with this camera and lens combo. It was really cool because I finally was able to see a lot of the planes coming in because they're like coming into land where my mom lives in that area. So it's fairly close to just the airport itself. So you get to have a good enough range with this lens, but also be able to just go ahead and capture just a little bit of video if you wanted to and everything like that, which is what I wanted to do with this setup. I know it's not gonna be the most thrilling type of photos for most people, but it's about kind of getting out of your comfort zone or finding something that's not within your niche, which, to be able to capture or test out just to see how you like it. And a lot of us tend to be a little bit more of the, kind of scared side to go ahead and venture out because maybe you have a platform that you're building and people know you for just portraits or car photography or street photography, that sometimes venturing out to go take photos of a different niche might not seem as enticing due to the fact that you think it's not going to resonate well with your audience. And for myself, I've never really been one to kind of keep myself in a box. I like to take photos of just what captures my eye. For the longest of time, I've been wanting to take photos of planes in the wild, if you will, kind of like safari mode, but obviously not safari mode because of where I live. But having that 50-300 range really just was really nice because I can zoom it in and get a lot of details of the shots, even though that it was my kind of first time. So could have been better, could have been more enticing shots, I'm sure, or other people have done better than I have when it comes down to airplane photography or whatever you want to call it. But I just wanted to go ahead and do it. And that's what I hope to encourage you to just go ahead and, take photos of things that just interest you, whether you make content of it or post it anywhere, but you just do it for yourself. Mainly this video is for myself because I know it's not really crazy when it comes down to, anything for whatever it is, but it's really because I wanted to hold myself accountable to just go ahead and take photos of the planes that I've been trying to do for so long, and finally have been able to do it and got some decent photos in my opinion. Some of them were pretty cool. Some of them I'm like, oh, what the heck was I thinking? That little spray and pray kind of type, but I still had a fun time finally making it happen. And it's kind of funny because we were just at my mom's apartment complex and just kind of talking because we met up to have lunch, and then I helped her out to change the license plate for her vehicle because obviously she moved. She changed vehicles now after a while of being in the north. If you ever live in the north and you have a lot of, salt and rust, whatever in your vehicle, you kind of know it's gonna, fall down or whatever kind of scenario. So she got a new vehicle, helped her out to change the license plates at her apartment complex. And the funniest thing ever is the plane just kept rolling in. And I even told my wife, I'm gonna bring this camera just in case there's a probability of at least having one plane that I can photograph. And there were some missed opportunities, I'll be quite honest, because as we were driving towards my mom's, where we're gonna meet up for lunch first, there was a plane that just went over us and it was so perfect. And I couldn't capture it, which is kind of annoying because it looks so good. And if you would have seen it, you would have been like, oh man, that is pretty cool. Like I've seen photos of people do it, I think in LA near an In-N-Out where like the plane just goes right above them. So it looks really nice. And I was like, oh, that would have been cool. Obviously we're driving, so kind of can't really, you know, take a photo and drive that easily. And especially because I didn't have my camera set up for anything at the time, so I didn't really get to do it. But at the end of the day, got some photos. That was the main important thing. Went out determined, and as well, after so much, you know, time passed that I always missed on whatever thing, I got to take those photos. And boy, did that feel so good. It's something that like I try to tell people that I've conversed with, that are creators and, you know, photographers, videographers, it's just like have a set goal of trying out new photo styles or new, you know, compositions, editing, or, you know, shutter speeds, or anything that might help you branch out and feel like a noob again, because you don't want it to feel repetitive and monotone. And this really made me feel like I kind of had no idea what I was doing to a certain degree. Like obviously I know how to work my camera, but at the end of the day, I'm not really sure what to look for when it comes down to, you know, airplane photography, whether it's the composition, how much did I zoom in, how much should I let out of the background, you know, well, I guess clouds, because there's not really much of a background. I'm not near enough the airport where I could get, you know, very big photos of like with the airport or something like that, which I guess I could do if I just fly out and take photos of there, but I feel like that's not in the wild. So it's like more like when it's arriving, which makes sense to me to do. But the cool thing was that I got some cool photos in my opinion. I just went out and set out to say, I'm gonna go ahead and finally put this 50-300 cheap Tamron zoom lens with a, I guess, more expensive body of the A7R5 that not everybody can relate to. I get it because I got it on a deal. If you've seen the video on the channel, thank you. If you haven't, go watch it. Subscribe, you know, do the good stuff that every YouTuber tells you to do. But finally got to take the photos of planes, and it's just so rewarding. I had one photo that I really liked that could have been better, but it was like with the American flag as the plane was kind of going by. So just had like something kind of going on with that. And I thought that was really cool. I liked also the detail shots that I got to be a little bit more up closer of the plane. So you see a little bit more details. And I kind of got a little bit, I don't want to say creative because it wasn't really creative. I was just trying out things as I was going about it. But I was able to take one photo that went near like the apartment complex where you were like kind of like corner it a little bit, and I was just happy that I was, you know, experimenting. I was just having fun. And if you're trying to do, you know, whether it's content creation, photography, videography, or anything for a job, you know, it can get to the wheel where you almost start to get burnt out. It happens to me even with tennis. I play tennis all the time because I coach it all the time. So if friends of mine ask me to go play tennis for fun, in my mind, I just have no desire, because it's like if I ask somebody that's an accountant to go do taxes for fun together at their house or something like that, or whatever variant of that will be. Had a lot of fun, created photos, took videos, and just enjoyed what was happening that I finally got to take, and got to document a little bit of it to showcase it to you guys so that you can see it, and as well just to know that it's okay to not take the most amazing photos whenever you're doing any content whatsoever. It's a process to get better. And that's what this whole channel has always been about, is showcasing my process of learning something to get better at it so that you get inspired, hopefully, to do it for yourself as well. Because nobody's an expert in anything. You just get better every time a little bit more. Even myself with tennis, playing since I was like 5 years old, and I've competed for so long in my life, and I've coached it for so long now, that I still learn so many things because I challenge myself to learn something new within the niche and field that I'm at, or to push out a different way. And this was for me what I wanted to do, and I had a lot of fun. I thought it was great. So, you know, that's why I'm rambling about this, because it's just my mind finally, you know, got it. So my mind's like, whoa, yay, finally we got to get the photos that we've been attempting to do for so long, because I would show up and nothing would happen over and over and over and over. Finally got to make it happen. You got to see the photos, got to see a little bit of that AI, I guess, airplane mode autofocus with the A7R5 that the A7C2 has. So if you have an A7C2 or want to get it, you'd be fine for, you know, airplane car photography because it has that mode on it. But now you know that a cheaper lens like a 50-300, where you don't have to, you know, spend so much money on a zoom range lens to get whatever, you can do so much with it still. And I've used this lens quite a bit for so many projects already, especially when I want to get more details. So yeah, hopefully it inspires you to just go ahead, either use the gear that you have already to venture out and do something different, or if you're looking to get a setup like this with a 50-300, that's a cheaper lens, whether you want to use it with an A7 III, A7C2, A7 IV, A7R5, or whatever in between. I just hope that you just go and create for yourself, have fun, and be reminded of why you do photography, videography, or anything of the sort. If you do it as a profession, or if you're trying to get better, just go for it. But anyways, what's one type of photography that you're wanting to venture into more because you haven't yet and are maybe scared to do it, or maybe you don't know where to start? I would love to know what you're wanting to do, because it's always great to see people that are trying to improve themselves or trying to experiment and just keep growing the love of the art of photography, videography, just a creative field, because with how much there is about maybe AI or whatever, I hope you feel encouraged to go ahead and create for yourself, see it for yourself, and capture that moment, because it's so rewarding when you finally do. But with all that said and done, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, share this video with a friend. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.